Fereji ama ni ngamia?
Good afternoon. This is the KBC Lunchtime News. I'm Regina Manyara, and being the 25th of April 2022, the country is mourning the passing of former President Mwai Kibaki there, and as from early morning, from dawn, KBC has been honoring an icon who has been termed as an astute leader and an economist who transformed the economy, picking it up from 2003-2002 when the economy was pegged at 700 billion shillings. And when he left office in 2013-2014, he left an economy of 1.3 trillion shillings. People continue eulogizing Mwai Kibaki and looking at how he touched their lives directly and indirectly. Indeed, our hashtag on KBC Channel 1 Twitter handle is honoring an icon. Tell us where you're watching this particular broadcast from. Now, without further ado, let us find out what is happening in Parliament, where our parliamentary team has been keenly focusing on what has been happening in Parliament, given that now, led by President Uhuru Kenyatta, it is open to Kenyans to go and pay their last respects to the former President Mwai Kibaki. Now, joining me from Parliament is Beatrice Gatonye and Isaac Lamoka. Good afternoon, Lamoka and Beatrice. Bring us up to speed with what is currently happening at Parliament.
Thank you very much, Regina Manyara, from the studio. We are coming live to you from the Parliament buildings, where the body of the late President Mwai Kibaki is lying in state. And at this particular point, Kenyans have been allowed to walk in these buildings to view the body of the late president and give their last respect to a man who participated in the politics of this country on different capacity. We were here from 7:30, from around 6 p.m. and together with my colleague Isaac Lemoka, paint for us a picture of how the situation has been since morning.
It is a somber mood for the country today, and clearly, as Beatrice has put it, we were here very early in the morning, and the body of the late President Kibaki left Lee Funeral Home at around 7:30 a.m. and arrived here. It was received by President Uhuru Kenyatta and other dignitaries, including the CSAs. The Judiciary was well represented presented, led by Chief Justice Martha Koome, and thereafter other MPs and the entire nation were allowed to come and view the body of the late President Mwai Kibaki, who died last Friday. And of course, we had some interviews with some of the dignitaries. I saw you, Beatrice, speaking to Kotu Secretary General and Amolo Otiende as well. What came out of the interview?
Oh, sure. While I was speaking to these leaders, I think what they said generally is a representation of what many Kenyans are feeling about. And they praised the late President Mwai Kibaki as a leader who worked very hard to ensure that the economy of this country was rising and rising. Dr. Francis Atoli talks about Mwai Kibaki taking the leadership of this country at a time when the country's economy was just at 2%.
2%.
And raising it, he actually said that it was like Kibaki was a miracle worker in terms of growing the country's economy, because by the time he was leaving in 2013, the economy was almost at 7%.
Yeah.
And these are things that many leaders are talking about. A leader who worked very hard to improve the economy of this country, a leader who brought free education. That meant so much to Kenyan children. A leader who worked hard to see that people around him were disciplined and they were working hard. And they call him a leader who had Kenya interest at heart.
Very well put. And I also talked to some of the leaders, Governor Lonyangapuo, Governor Tunai. I talked to Senator of Nairobi, Mr. Sakaja himself, and all of them were praising President Kibaki, saying that he was a leader who wanted Kenyans to have the change that they deserve. But that is for the leaders. Personally, how do you remember President Kibaki?
I will remember the late Mwai Kibaki as a leader who brought free education, because I think that really meant so much for a Kenyan child, for Kenyan children, because at that time probably many parents were struggling to take their children to school. But today I think every Kenyan child has a chance to go and access free education, free primary education, secondary the same. And I think this is a milestone. When you give a child education, I think that is something for me. I will remember him for you.
Talking about free primary education, President Bill Clinton was asked, whom do you want to meet? And he said, President Kibaki. Why? Because of the free primary education. That is a plus. And I also remember President Kibaki as somebody who really wanted a nation where people are educated.
Thank you. Just to give you a little bit of what is happening right now, Kenyans are walking into this place to view the body, give their last respect. There are pictures on the other side of this building where there's a line of pictures of the history of who Mwai Kibaki was, together with his family. And I've seen a number of Kenyans taking pictures around that area. And I think as we had said earlier, this is going to go on until Wednesday. Like, every Kenyan has a chance to come to the Kenyan Parliament buildings to view the body and give their last respect to this hero, this leader who has been praised so much, not only by the leaders of this country, but also Kenyans at large. I think as of now, the only thing we can say is that now the Kenyans are walking into this place, they're viewing the body in and out, and this goes on, and we'll be here to keep giving you updates of what will be happening here.
Yeah, remember the Requiem Mass is on Friday before the burial happens on Saturday. We are here and we shall be here just to give you a clear picture of what is taking place right here. Thank you so much for your company. My name is Isaac Lemoka.
My name is Beatrice Getonyeng-Etich. I take you back to Regina Manyara in the studio.
Thank you very much, Beatrice and Lamoka, for bringing us up to speed with what is happening at Parliament. Remember, public viewing of the body and paying respects to the fallen president will be commencing every morning for the next 2 days or so till Wednesday between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. And government has already encouraged Wanjiko, you and I, to actually make time and pay your last respects to the lying icon there. That is former President Mwai Kibaki. Now, still keeping up with tributes to the fallen president is that political leaders have been urged to emulate the late former President Mwai Kibaki for his diligent service to the nation during his tenure as Kenya's third head of state. 94-year-old Mwai Kibaki, who schooled with Kibaki at Karima Primary School in 1943, says Kibaki embraced peace and wisdom in service delivery to his people.
94-year-old Mwai Kibaki says she schooled with former President Mwai Kibaki. She recalls moments they shared with the late Kibaki at Karima Primary School in the 1940s. While paying homage to the former president, she challenged political leaders to emulate Kibaki for his legacy.
Ninamjua Kibaki kwa shule kule Karima na tunasoma na yeye. Mwanafunzi mzuri sana na iko na ugeita wote akili akili nyingi mno.
Another elderly man who says he shared some childhood memories with Kibaki is challenging leaders to step up efforts in fighting corruption.
Upande wa upizaji kupuja pesa wananchi, alikuwa very active, alikuwa very against. Hakuwa akitaka mtu achukue mali ya mwingine. Kwa hivyo mimi namjua namna hiyo.
Leaders have been challenged to emulate the late Mwai Kibaki, who embraced humility and servant leadership and his bid to ensure that the country was peaceful and stabilize the economy. Reporting from Othaya in Nyeri County, my name is Frederick Mwoki.
Indeed, that is our reporter, Mwoki there, who is down in Nyeri. And to just answer, or rather quickly, just look at, the intricate details in as far as the burial preparations are concerned. We've had a section of leaders timing and saying that, they want the remains of the fallen president, that is Mwai Kibaki, interred at the Heroes Corner in Uhuru Gardens. What does this mean, especially for preparations that are already underway down in Othaya? Our reporter Mwoki has more details in regard to that particular matter. Joining me live from Nyeri County is our reporter Mwoki to bring us up to speed with what is happening down there in Othaya.
Residents and preparations are in top gear towards preparations for the burial ceremony of the late President Mwai Kibaki. And of course, security on the ground is very tight. And earlier today, we had a cross-section of residents from Othaya and top political leaders from this region also. Earlier, they indicated that Kibaki's body will be laid to rest on Saturday. And of course, condolences books for the members of the public drawn from Othaya constituency will be flagged off tomorrow by the area political leaders. And of course, Kibaki's residence right now, it's a beehive of activities. And we had a cross-section of some leaders from this region continues paying homage to the late president. And of course, we also had some of aspirants of various positions in this region. They had to turn down their political showdowns in honor of the late President Mwai Kibaki. Preparations are in top gear. Everything is going on very well. Security is very tight. And the residents also continue mourning the passing of the late President Mwai Kibaki. And starting tomorrow, members of the public will be able to send their letters of condolences and messages of condolences to the late president through the CDF office in Othaya. Of course, we'll just keep you posted about what will be happening again during the course of the day in subsequent bulletins, because right now we cannot get access to the residents, Kibaki's resident, due to protocols. And of course, security is beefed up in this area, of course, and we will be hoping that everything will go on as planned within the course of the day as we prepare to celebrate the death of the former president Mwai Kibaki.
Mwai. Thank you very much, Mwai, for that update on what is happening at the late president's residence, that is Mwai Kibaki's residence there. Preparations on the top gear, given that the funeral committee chair, Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i indicated that the late president will be interred in his Othaya home on 30th, which happens to be this Saturday. This comes amid debate from various leaders who are of the opinion that the late president should be interred at the Heroes Corner for his contributions towards the country. Quoted in one of the dailies is Senator Irungu Kanangata, who opined and said that the late President Mwai Kibaki outgrew Othaya after he did such major reforms such as a free primary education. Now we take you over to Mombasa County with our reporter Michael Modigan, bringing us up to speed with what is happening in Mombasa in regard to matters of honoring an icon, and that is the late former President Mwai Kibaki. Good afternoon, Modigan. We cannot, it seems that we can't get Michael there. We're having a bit of sound interruption there, but once we correct it, we're going to be taking you back to Mombasa County to hear what he has to say. On that note, we take a quick breather, but coverage of honoring an icon is going to be continuing in not too long. To keep it right here.
As campaign intensified for the upcoming general election, what does all this mean for you, the voter? What do the candidates have to offer? How prepared are agencies charged with the election process? Join John Kuria and Safina Chieng on Kenya Decides. This and every Tuesday from 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1 as we unpack elections 2022 with a panel of various stakeholders. Make informed electoral decisions.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email news@kbc.co.ke or call 0723-892-654 or 0734-780-124.
Kwa kona board. Hapo ni wapi? Niko hapa kuna board na kwanga hapa karibu na nini na Epic Office.
Nini unafanya huku ndani?
Nilikuwa nakula handasa. Mama, si chakula mingi. Nyaka tu katogo mama.
Mimi kwa sai I am taken.
Mimi sina haja na mahusiano. Mimi nakupa tu pesa zikusaidie wewe mfukoni.
Checho dadabe, afure kankeme.
Ngamia iko wapi? Hii ni mfereji ama ni ngamia?
Good afternoon. This is the Lunchtime News on KBC Channel 1 and I'm Regina Manyara. Today, the president led the country in honoring an icon, and us as KBC Channel 1 has been giving you and bringing to you a special coverage from dawn, and this will continue until we lay the former president to rest. We are asking you this afternoon, what do you fondly remember Mwai Kibaki for? You can get us on Twitter at KBC Channel 1 there, including where you're watching this particular broadcast from, as tributes continue trickling in both on mainstream media as well as social media, with one from Kupet who have praised the former president Mwai Kibaki for his role in implementing higher salaries for the tutors. We'll continue with our special coverage, so do keep it right here. Now, Maendeleo ya Wanawake organization joined the country in mourning the late President Mwai Kibaki, who passed on last Friday. Addressing the media this morning, National Chairperson Rahab Mu termed the late president as a true statesman and immensely contributed to the growth of Maendeleo ya Wanawake organization. The chair recalls that it was during Kibaki's tenure that the organization rolled out national water harvesting projects for women in line with the Vision 2030.
When he joined politics, and during the 10 years that he was in power, he gave himself completely to the service of this nation. His legacy for sure will continue to inspire generations to come in the future. It is my prayer that we just don't say these words, but we look back, all of us, read books, watch media, and appreciate President Kibaki's sacrifice for this nation. And the question, therefore, we must ask ourselves, what sacrifices do we do for this nation? May the good Lord give you his grace to carry this burden as you take your father to his final resting place. We also would want to thank God that he has given him 90 years of his life. That is not a small age. We appreciate the many years he has given him, but it is never enough for a parent.
We want to take you to the Supreme Court, where Chief Justice Martha Koome is addressing a press in regard to matters of political parties dispute tribunal decentralization plan. And our reporter Serafina Robi is joining us live. Let's have a listen in to what the CJ has to say in regard to that matter.
Meru region, which will be at the Meru Law Courts, Mombasa region, which will also be at the Mombasa Law Courts. Kisumu region will be at the Kisumu Law Courts, Kakamega, Nyeri, and Eldoret, and all of them will be in the court stations. An additional milestone that we are making is the leveraging on technology for efficiency of delivery of justice by PPDT. And this is realized through e-filing. So far, all the matters that we are handling at the tribunal are being filed through e-filing. People do not have to travel to find a registry where to file their papers in Nairobi, but they are doing it electronically. It ought to be appreciated that the judiciary has identified the use of technology as an enabler for our efficient delivery of justice. It is in line with this that we have activated an e-filing system for the PPDT. This means that we expect those who will be filing cases before the tribunal to use the online filing system. To ensure that the decentralization process and the e-filing process function effectively, we have designated contact persons, being the court administrators of each of the 7 identified court stations, and our ICT officers to be on the standby to assist any person who will be in need or needs guidance or assistance on e-filing of their disputes. In conclusion, I assure Kenyans that the PPDT and the courts are ready and well prepared to handle any disputes arising from the political parties' primaries and other electoral disputes, including working beyond normal hours and on weekends to meet the deadlines and, at the bottom line, to ensure the ends of justice are met. We are making every effort to ensure that the PPDT and the courts hear and determine disputes fairly, exercising utmost caution to ensure that our processes are not compromised at all, that the disputes are also concluded expeditiously and cost effectively. And this is why we are decentralizing. I thank the Office of the Chief Registrar of the Judiciary, Madam Anna Mandi, also the Registrar of the Tribunals, and the members and the Chair of and Vice Chair of the PPDT, our Chair Desmond Nungu, and all other partners who have worked very hard to see to it that we are rendering services seamlessly, and that the goal that is ensuring access to justice and deepening access to electoral justice becomes a reality. Ladies and gentlemen, with those few remarks, I now officially declare the decentralized PPDT stations and the e-filing system is officially launched and officially ready for our use. And our members are here ready to travel to those stations and give justice to our people who have disputes regarding elections. Thank you very much.
Indeed, quite an assurance there that is bound to set matters at peace when it comes to matters of election parties, disputes, and the upcoming election there. We'll have further details and a comprehensive report from the courts there. We have our reporters Serafina Ruby and Ben Troy following up on that. So in our subsequent bulletins, you'll be fully appraised of where these particular courts are going to be operating from. Now, still keeping up with honoring an icon, and this is the late former president Emilio Mwai Kibaki there. Narok County Commander Kizito Mutoro, who served as the late Mwai Kibaki's personal bodyguard for 10 years, has hailed the late former president, terming him as an astute, charming and charismatic leader who was ready to listen to all. Kizito remembered the late president as a jovial man and a forgiving man who never missed church, where he freely mingled with all Kenyans.
Ya familia hiyo, kwa sababu tumekaa nao na mzee kwa miaka mingi sana. The close protective unit ile yake.
John Kizito Mutoro, who worked for the late former president for the 10 years as the leader of the Close Protection Unit, has hailed the late leader as a man who highly valued education and even urged his security personnel to put emphasis on the same.
Alikuwa anapenda elimu sana. Na kila mara kitu kikitokezea lazima tu angeleta tu furaha. Kwa hivyo alikuwa ni mzee mcheshi, rafiki na ni baba.
He called on Kenyans to emulate him as he was a non-tribal leader ready to lend an ear to everyone.
Alikuwa ni president ambaye anajua kutupatia mwelekeo kwa pati ya elimu. Hakutaka kujua ni nani unatoka wapi, si ati labda ingekuwa ati ni Mkikuyu ama ni mtu kutoka Gema ama kutoka zile area. No. Familia hiyo ilikuwa inatoa accommodate zote.
According to the police boss, Kibaki was a prayerful man who never missed a Sunday service and did not prefer a special seat for him in church.
Kila wakati tulikuwa tukifanya sala, kuomba. Kila wakati kama hatujakula tunaomba, kila mahali tunaomba. Sundays tunaenda kanisa na anafuata kanisa vile inaendelea. Mzee alikuwa ni mtu wa kuforgive. Mtu akimkosea, wale walikuwa mkimkosea, kisha mwambia tu pole kwishi.
He fondly remembered the many times the former head of state used humor and charisma to lighten up the room every time during work.
Mzee mwenyewe alikuwa ni mcheshi. Malipota alingeweza kukutana na watu, unasikia tu ni story, mambo hiyo, hata ungejua ni president. Ana interact na kila mtu.
For Lunchtime News, I'm Ben Troy Njue.
Indeed, they're a prayerful man there, and also someone who was charming and open to all. That is how Kizito there remembers his former boss there, the late President Mwai Kibaki. What do you remember Mwai Kibaki for? Our Twitter handle is at KBC Channel 1. Mine is at Ray Manyara. Now we delve into matters of security, where Mombasa Deputy County Commissioner Ronald Mawawi has assured Old Town residents of their security following a recent attack by armed juvenile criminal gangs. Speaking during a security baraza in the area, the Deputy County appealed to the members of the public, including family members, to report suspected criminals to the relevant authorities for action. Ronald told residents that security had been beefed up and a state of normalcy would be restored. Edwin Austin with more.
A gang of young men has been terrorizing residents of Mombasa Old Town area over the past week. Residents here continue to call on security agencies to intervene. Speaking during a security baraza in the area, the Deputy County Commissioner said it is possible to restore the peace locals had enjoyed for a long time before the recent attacks.
Nyinyi wenye mnasimama na mnasema mnawajua walio wabaya. Kila mara naomba msiogope. Hebu kujeni mtuzungumzie, tuwahusishe katika kupanga. Maana hakuna kinachofaulu kama washikadau wajakaa chini wakafanya nini? Wakapanga. Kama katika mji huu tunawaelewa walio wabaya kina nani, wanaishi wapi, wanapatikana masaa gani, kujeni tusaidiane kupanga.
Mvita Member of Parliament Sharif Nasir observed that small criminal elements in the area were tarnishing their name, consequently hampering development activities meant to benefit the people in the area.
Eneo la Old Town zamani liko likijifahari kwa kitu kimoja peke yake, mambo ya tourism. 4% ya uchumi wetu kama Mombasa unatoka kwa utalii. Tunajaribu kuhakikisha ya kwa fedha zile ziweze kuingia katika maeneo yetu. Yule mtalii akiweza kuingia, akifika hapa Fort Jesus, kwanza kuna tour guide ambao wako hapa wataweza kufaidika. Akitoka hapa akienda mbele zaidi, kuna wale wenye kuuza zile kurio wataweza kufaidika.
Edwin Austin for Lunchtime News.
Now we speak matters business, where chicken, pizza and burgers are the top 3 most ordered food items online in the country. This is according to the Jumia Food Index that indicates that Kenyans are becoming more creative and less traditional in the way they source for their daily meals. Jumia Kenya CEO Betty Mwangi says the growing internet penetration is driving uptake of e-commerce services, with shoppers increasingly ordering for non-traditional items.
There are 23.35 million internet users in Kenya in January 2022, with the internet penetration rate at 42% of the total population. Data from the Communication Authority of Kenya indicates that internet users increased by 1.6 million between 2021 and 2022. Internet users are projected to hit 53.6% by 2025. Players in the e-commerce industry believe expanding internet penetration and the middle class would drive uptake of the online trade.
3 years, but super excited now to be bringing Domino's online onto Jumia, which will, of course, offer Domino's the opportunity to, sell to our 3 million plus base of customers. But more importantly, to our customers, we're very passionate about our customers, to offer you now even more choice.
Great. Well, we're very excited, first of all, to bring the Domino's brand onto the Jumia platform. We've been with Jumia for some years as partners with Colston Creamery brand, and we've been very happy with the results.
A study on consumer spending revealed that 4 out of 5 surveyed consumers in Kenya are shopping more since the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, a trend expected to stay.
I see growth in online and in e-commerce. I see a huge growth coming there. Not sure that it will ever completely eradicate that little supermarket trip, but definitely becoming more and more prevalent and more customers coming on board.
To further boost its market share, Jumia Food has inked a deal with Domino's Pizza that will see consumers order for meals across the various Domino's outlets in Nairobi and Mombasa. On its part, from the US franchise, Domino's will be leveraging Jumia's network to expand its reach. Chicken, pizza and burgers are the top 3 most ordered food items in the country.
So we currently have 7 Domino's stores in Kenya. 6 of them are in Nairobi, 1 in Mombasa. We are in the process of doing a big geographical launch in Kenya. We're expecting to double the size of our fleet, so to go to 14 stores by the end of this year. And we see great potential in Kenya, and we want to make sure that we cover all neighborhoods, and we're not there yet in the big cities. The plan is to focus on Nairobi and Mombasa, and then more regionally into Kisumu, into potentially Nyanyuki, but definitely Nakuru, definitely Eldoret as well.
Now, the rising cost of fertilizer is having a major effect on the horticulture industry in the country. The Agricultural Employers Association has said production and profitability are likely to drop this year as farmers grapple with the high cost of inputs. The industry is slowly recovering from the disruptions caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. Earnings from exports of cut flowers, fruits and vegetables rose 5% in 2021 from the previous year.
The horticultural sector is Kenya's 3rd largest foreign exchange earner. The flower industry directly employs 150,000 people and contributes 1% of the country's GDP. The Kenya floriculture market is projected to register a compound annual growth rate of 5.1% during the forecast period 2022 to 2027. The sector was just recovering from the COVID-19 pandemic, which disrupted supply chains, and the lockdowns led to a sharp drop in flower demand in Europe and Asia, Kenya's largest export markets.
Challenges that for the last 2 years on the issues of COVID, we have faced quite a bit in terms of the ability to transport these flowers to reach the market, the freight costs, the capacity in terms of the cargo space and all that.
According to the Agricultural Employers Association Chief Wesley Siele, farmers' profit margins is shrinking due to high farm inputs that is likely to have a direct effect on workers' salary and wages.
We always have these challenges about also the cost of production, which keeps going up every time. And we always having these discussions with the governments about how else can we have the cost of production to be managed so that we are able then to give back to these employees.
The association is urging the government to intervene over the high cost of fertilizer and lack of cargo flight and capacity in the floriculture sector. CLA spoke during the launch of the Dignified Opportunities Program, which is meant to address workers' living and working conditions in the flower sector. Reporting for Lunchtime News, I am Teresa Mutai.
Now, across the African continent, is that the rate of inflation in Ghana has risen to 19.4%, hitting a 13-year high, as the cost of food rose by a fifth. Many Ghanaians say they are eating less due to the hikes in the cost of food. Details of this and other stories from the African continent.
Ghana's economy has been struggling to deal with the rise in the cost of goods and services, coupled with a weakening local currency since January. The government has increased its lending rate to 17% to slow inflation while pumping $2 billion into the economy to tackle the depreciation of the Ghanaian cedi against the US dollar. Food prices have been shooting up since the beginning of this year. Analysts say a lot of factors are contributing to the rising food prices. Traders say they have had to increase prices because the cost of transporting the food to the market has gone up due to hikes in fuel prices. Meanwhile, Rwanda's tea continues to fetch premium prices at the auction, outdoing price offers from other regional countries due to high demand. Market data from the auction indicates the price of Rwanda tea stood at $2.83 a kilo in the latest sale against Tanzania's $1.51 and Uganda's $1.43. On average, all the tea at the auction fetched $2.40 per kilo during the sale, which was an increase from $2.38 realized in the previous sale. All the tea from regional countries are marketed to the Mombasa auction by the East African Tea Traders Association before they are shipped out of the country for overseas markets. Finally, Nigeria has restated its commitment to deliver the Blue and Red Rail Line projects in the first quarter of 2023. Nigeria will bring in additional 2 sets of 4 train coaches from China by September and October in preparation for the kickoff of the operation. The Nigerian government threatened to go after those vandalizing and selling the iron median used as truck barricades, adding that the companies buying the iron will be shut down. Extra security measures will be put in place to ensure the safety of passengers through the installation of CCTV cameras to monitor activities and repairs of the vandalized barricades for the safety of residents.
To the sporting arena, it's all systems go ahead of this year's National Athletics Trials, set to kick off tomorrow at the Moi International Sports Centre, Kasarani. Athletes, coaches and federations are finalizing their training ahead of the national event. Among the big names likely to feature is Africa's 100 meters record holder Ferdinand Omanyala and reigning world 1500 meters champion Faith Kipyegon. The 3-day event will see athletes battle it out, aiming to secure the available slots to represent Kenya in the All-Africa Games and the Commonwealth Games. We will be keeping you updated on what is going to be happening at the Kasarani Stadium camp tomorrow. Now we go global and talk about international soccer, where Liverpool moved back to within 1 point of Premier League leaders Manchester City after they outshined Everton in a 2-0 win in Anfield. Meanwhile, in the Spanish La Liga, Barcelona suffered a 3rd home defeat in a row for the first time in a single season at Rayo Vallecano at Camp Nou.
Andy Robertson and substitute Divock Origi tormented Everton once again after a 2-0 victory over relegation-threatened Everton at Anfield.
Salah